Science these days is advancing at such an enormous rate that it's often not possible to keep up with its progress. So, I invite you to read about recent breakthroughs in science that you should know about. I'll tell you about the development of neural networks, a skin gun that heals burns, a neurointerface, and much more. Enjoy watching. Cameras that shoot 10 trillion frames per second can capture the speed of light. Scientists at the National Research Institute, Canada, and the California Institute of Technology have developed the world's fastest video camera, the teacup, which shoots at 10 trillion frames per second. Most of the processes we are used to are relatively slow, so we can easily capture them with a conventional camera that runs at about 30 to 60 frames per second. However, some processes in physics and biology require much larger temporal resolution. In particular, in order to see the detachment of an electron from an atom, or to record the movement of a light wave propagating in substances at a speed of about 200,000 kilometers per second, we need to use cameras operating at a frequency of more than 1 trillion frames per second. This device literally makes it possible to freeze time. That is, to visualize phenomena and even light at a very slow rate. This type of high-speed camera opens the door to new and highly efficient methods of microscopic analysis of dynamic phenomena in biology and physics. For example, processes in a living cell or the motion of molecules can be studied in detail. By setting a world record for imaging speed, the teacup could lead to a new generation of microscopes for biomedicine, material science, and other applications. This camera represents a fundamental shift. It makes it possible to analyze interactions between light and matter with unprecedented temporal resolution. Every gun that regenerates skin after a burn. The current standard of care for serious burns is skin grafting. But skin grafts mean cutting off healthy skin to put it on top of burns, resulting in even more skin healing and progressive pain. Therefore, scientists invented a new method of healing, the ReCell, a device that is designed to treat burns by suspending the patient's own skin cells. Scientists have been working for more than a decade to come up with something better, but the skin spray is one obvious solution. Take a small skin sample, turn it into a solution, and cover the burned area with a thin layer of skin cells that can grow back and cover the wound. You just spray it on the patient on the burned area, said Chris Hutchins of the federal government's Office of Advanced Biomedical Research and Development, which helped to pay for his development. The cells in the solution strengthen and begin to grow, forming a fresh layer of normal envelope. Doctors say burns heal faster and patients spend less time in the hospital. 2 clinical trials have shown faster recovery with less skin than with standard grafts. Scientists have created a method to reverse the conversion of carbon dioxide into solid coal, a breakthrough that could change the way carbon is removed from the atmosphere and stored permanently. It is one of several recently developed emission reduction methods aimed at making carbon capture and storage cheaper, safer, and more efficient. This particular method was developed by a research team led by RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia, and it uses a liquid metal electrocatalyst containing rare earth metal cerium nanoparticles to convert the greenhouse gas into a stable carbon-like solid. Similar experiments have been conducted before, but the conversion could only be achieved at high temperatures, usually at least 600 degrees Celsius. Now scientists have been able to run the process at room temperature. Being able to sell or otherwise use the carbon after it's removed from the atmosphere will help make carbon capture and storage methods more cost-effective and therefore more scalable. Making it cheaper could help the global community remove the 101 trillion tons of carbon needed to prevent catastrophic global warming by mid-century, as proposed by the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. A new kind of battery. Employees at the University of Illinois at Chicago campus have created the first working prototype of a lithium carbon dioxide battery. Such a battery has an energy storage density 7 times greater than that of a lithium-ion battery. The results of the study are published in the journal Advanced Materials. The paper says that the scientists managed to get rid of the main drawback of lithium carbon dioxide batteries, the small number of recharge cycles, about 100, caused by the release of carbon during chemical reactions. To do this, they had to change the composition of the electrolyte. Molybdenum disulfide was added to dimethyl sulfoxide, which conducts ions well. The hybrid electrolyte made it possible to start a reversible electrochemical cycle that completely neutralizes CO2 and will allow 500 recharge cycles. The energy storage density of such a battery is 1,876 watt-hours per kilogram of mass, which, for a second, is 7 times more than the current lithium-ion batteries can offer. The energy storage density of such a battery is 1,876 watt-hours per kilogram of mass, which for a second is 7 times more than current lithium-ion batteries can offer. Neural networks. Mankind had a chance to turn everything upside down 70 years ago because rumors about artificial intelligence were already going around then. The downside was that somehow one technology got ahead of the others and came too early. Neural networks didn't have a chance to develop so fast in the last century because of the lack of opportunities. There was no big data to train and no new generation of specialists. But these days, in the last year or two, artificial intelligence technology has made a major breakthrough. Increased computing power and a better understanding of mathematical models have led to unprecedented results and developments. Neural networks are able to learn and evolve on their own, building their experience from the mistakes made. Analyzing and processing information from a certain source or from the internet as a whole, a self-organizing system is capable of creating new products, not only reproducing and structuring the input data, but also forming a qualitatively different result, previously unavailable to the artificial intelligence. This gives them the ability to get smarter and adapt much faster. Neural networks are now capable of drawing pictures in any existing artistic style, confidently beating the world champion in the most complex logic game on the planet, of recording music albums and imitating human behavior in email correspondence. All of the above is just a demonstration of some of the capabilities of the technology, the real application of which in business and in everyday life we will see in the near future. Implant. Israeli doctors successfully transplanted an artificial part of a blind man's eye, a cornea. Thanks to this, the man regained his sight. The cornea implant is placed in the pocket between the conjunctiva and the sclera of the eye. The first person to undergo this surgery was a 78-year-old man who lost his sight 10 years ago. The artificial cornea implantation process took no more than an hour. After the surgery and removal of the bandages, Farani was able to see again. The implant consists entirely of synthetic, non-degradable materials that replace the damaged corneal tissue. Thanks to cellular technology and chemical engineering mechanisms that mimic the cellular environment, the implant integrates with body tissues and does not cause rejection. Previously, donor corneas were used to restore vision, but it was difficult to obtain them, so the artificial cornea became a solution to the problem. Neuralink. Elon Musk held his second public demonstration of Neuralink technology on August 28, 2020. During the presentation, he presented a redesigned version of the neural interface, answered questions, and showed the results on 2 pigs. They were successfully implanted with a chip and brain activity was calculated. The main goal of Neuralink is to create a safe neuro interface capable of capturing brain activity and processing signals without the risk of rejection by the body. This will help in the study and treatment of neurological diseases and brain disorders, restoration of motor functions, treatment of blindness, paralysis, epilepsy, depression, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's diseases. With Neuralink, paralyzed people will be able to control phones and computers with their thoughts, such as texting, surfing the web, or communicating telepathically once the technology works in both directions. The project is based on the technology of flexible polymeric filaments with electrodes that are implanted into the cerebral cortex, reading the activity of neurons and stimulating them. Each thread is 4 to 6 micrometers thick, 10 times thinner than a human hair. It is arranged with 32 electrodes. The whole system can include up to 3,072 electrodes on 96 threads. The reason is because of their flexibility, it is more difficult to insert into the cerebral cortex than needles. So Neuralink has developed a special robot that looks like a mix of a sewing machine and a microscope. It can insert 6 threads per minute using special thin needles and is fully automated. Nevertheless, the neurosurgeon retains full control over the operation and can regulate the process manually. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our new videos. There are a lot of interesting things waiting for you. See you around.